Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for coming to the High Energy Entrepreneur Radio Show on the iNETrepreneur Network. I'm your host, Donna Guinouard, and I am so glad you joined us this afternoon. We have three amazing guests, but before I get into that, three things. Subscribe to this channel, bookmark all your networking activities at ntevents.net. And three, like us on our Facebook page. The iNETrepreneur Network is where entrepreneurs, business owners, experts, speakers, and influencers all come together to talk about their challenges and their triumphs, their tragedy and their impact. So let's get behind their stories and learn from their perspiration and their inspiration. You know, I am joined here in studio today with none other than the Robert W. Jones. Hey, Robert.
Hey, Donna. How are you today?
I am awesome. It's Thursday again, and I'm so excited.
I know. It's like, for me, Thursday is now the first day of the week. I don't know what other people are using with their calendars, but every Thursday is like, my Sunday. It is now the first day of my week, and I'm always glad to be here with you and our tremendous guests.
Me too. I am just excited that you're here with me, and even social distancing, we're still together.
Absolutely. And I think in certain ways, I feel like I see more of you now than I did before.
Maybe, huh?
It's like what was once a week, is now turned into 3 times a week. But you know what? Some habits are great, and this is one of those great habits.
That's right. That's when all the magic happens, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm really excited that you're here today and that we have 3 incredible guests lined up. This is going to be a really incredible show. And Robert, would you not agree with me? For everybody who's out there listening and watching, if you're able to safely, grab a pen and some paper, because there's going to be some things that you're going to want to write down.
Yeah, and what I like about each person on this show is, they say, you have to give. And, each person that we have on today are certainly a giver. And they all come from disciplines. But what I like about each and every person that's going to be on the show today is, they're all about how can I, find credibility, how can I create more influence, and how can I create a greater impact, and that's what they feel for their clients. And they're always, they're never satisfied. They always want to do more, provide more, be seen, and just, they lead by example. And that's what I love about our guest today.
And they give value.
Yeah, absolutely.
They do not under-deliver and overpromise, right?
Yeah,
I mean, they give everything.
And what I like is when you have a show and you actually each person personally, and I know each person personally. I mean, what's really crazy, I won't get to say it any later because I'm going to say it now. I mean, one of the show members, she actually knew my mom from Payson, Arizona, of all places. I mean, go figure. Right? Networking. I mean, you can't believe that. And then I meet Becky Norwood, and she lives in the almost the same backyard as my mom out there in Litchfield Park. And then, with Jeff Fagin, who's going to be coming on the show, I found out that my office was only across the street from him in Scottsdale. And I'm like, what is going on here? It's like the world has become about this large.
Yeah, it shrunk. It got really small.
Absolutely.
So before we bring the guests on, Robert, what do you have to new announcements going on that you can share with not only our members, but the people who are watching?
Well, on Friday, we have Daniel Miller from Click and Grow Business. He's going to be doing a 1-hour webinar from 1:30 to 2:30. And I found it's really fascinating, his business model. He's been talking about getting online, about bulletproofing your business, about, learning how to do things that you love, and get digital attraction. And he's been talking to me about this for a couple of years now. And I've done internet marketing myself. But what I found so fascinating is technology has created the availability, the accessibility, And really the acceleration of being able to be anywhere at once, to be able to be seen and convert products and services and distribute information in ways that we have never seen before in human history. And the people who didn't, jump onto the technology before because of the tragedy called COVID-19 is actually, actually created a space where people who didn't want to do it before are now, either being forced to do it, or they're actually retiring. But, we're not looking for that. We're looking for people who are in that space and they want to create this tremendous impact. And as Jeff was talking about earlier, before we started the show, what a great time for an entrepreneur, man. This is it.
It is. And, you have to be in it to win it.
Absolutely. And, so it's Friday, 1:30 to 2:30. And I always say, I could give you all the information, but what I want everyone on the show who's watching right now is just go to ntevents.net. ntevents.net. You can see, we have over 1,200 meetings, events, radio shows, etc. throughout the year. Just look for Thursday at 1:30. Click on that link and get yourself set up. Daniel is an amazing, amazing speaker. I also want to say
Friday.
Yes, Friday. Sorry. And I also want to say that I'm really excited that we're coming out with our next issue of the iNETrepreneur magazine. It's coming out the last week of May. And a couple of notables that are in there is we have Joe Fatale from How Thoughts Become Things, and The Secret's going to be in there. We have Mark Victor Hansen that's going to be in there. And on the cover, we have our own radio shows, Kimberly Miner. So those are just a couple of things that I'm just really excited about that we have going on in Network Together.
Awesome. I am super excited. I can't wait for the magazine to come out. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am really excited to introduce my first guest. It is none other than Becky Norwood. Welcome,
Hi,
Becky.
how are you?
Wonderful. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day and being here with us.
Oh, it's an honor, and I just love seeing you again.
I love seeing you. So, before I start the interview, I always like to brag a little bit about my guests. So Becky is the CEO and owner of Spotlight Publishing. She and her team have not only published, but made over 250 best-selling authors. Over 250. Becky is happily married, is a mother of 5 children, and has grandchildren. So welcome. I am so excited for you to be here, and we get to learn so many things about you.
Thank you. It's so fun to be here. And I noticed you said, and has grandchildren, because that number keeps changing.
Yeah, well, I wasn't sure. So I was like, I'm just going to let that one just.
Right now it's 10.
Wow, that's a lot of grandchildren.
It is.
Christmas is fun at your house, huh?
It is. It is very fun.
Yes, I love it. So let's go back a little bit. Let's go and start, Becky. Now, I know Becky personally, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we're in Network Together. But let's go back and start, where were you born and raised? Just the quick portion of that.
Born in a little tiny mountain town in Northern California called Chester. And I was raised till I was 8 in Los Angeles. I was only there a few months when my family moved back. In fact, I was the only one in my family that was born anywhere but Los Angeles.
Okay.
And then we moved to Oregon, and then from there on.
Okay. And did you start out as a young woman, as an entrepreneur? Because, Robert and I talk all the time, and we talk about how some entrepreneurs are born and some are made. And a lot of times some entrepreneurs get made because they get really tired of the whole corporate world, right? Because sometimes they're kind of not nice.
I have always been self-employed. I have never worked for anybody else.
That is awesome. Okay, so see, you were born entrepreneur. I love that. Yeah. So what was your first entrepreneurial job?
I worked in our family business. My dad was a house painter, And so I became a very, very good house painter. And from then it just kept growing. I had numerous different businesses. And at one time in my late 20s, I took over my father's saw blade sharpening business. So I sharpened saw blades for nearly 30 years.
Wow. Okay, don't make her angry, guys.
It was funny because the blades that I sharpened, I always called the sharpening that I did for our local clients, the ones that were just in our small town, my babysitting, I always babysat my town with all their sharpening, scissors, and chainsaws, you name it. But for all of the Phoenix area, I sharpened 52-inch diameter blades for all the steel mills and steel and aluminum industries, big blades on big automatic machinery. And I had just became a single mom when I got the business to take over. Never dreamed I would be doing something like that. Did not like it, didn't like the noise, didn't like the dirt, but it served me well, and it enabled me to raise my children and do a lot of amazing things.
That is awesome. So, okay, let's fast forward a little bit. So you've done a variety of different things as an entrepreneur. What led you into Spotlight Publishing?
Well, that was quite a journey, because when my two daughters, they're 15 months apart, and I became a single mom when I was still 6 months pregnant with my second child. So there was quite a lot of things that were going on, and I stayed a single mom for 20 years. And my daughters being so close in age, I had homeschooled them, and they both went within 2 weeks of each other, went off to college. And I was like, now what am I going to do? And I knew I didn't want to keep on sharpening. So I had sold the business, and before that, they had started with me in a gift basket business that I had for a while. And that was a lot of labor intensive work, that had to be done for gift baskets.
Oh, yeah.
So then I very brilliantly decided to start a lingerie business. I was just trying to figure out what I want to do. So those that knew me from sharpening, with always the headscarves and the hats and the, always in grungy jeans and whatever, sharpening into lingerie with beautiful corsets and gowns and all that stuff. It was quite a shift. Like, you? Really? But when I started the lingerie business, it was during the time when the economy crashed, and I had chosen a location that I could afford at the time, and it was in Old Town Glendale, and it just wasn't the right time, for something like that. So I struggled along for several months, actually several years, and finally decided, well, that just wasn't going to be it for me, because it was a lot of work. It just wasn't the right environment, right location. It was all about location. So about that time, the person that I had sold the sharpening business to, he decided he didn't like it. And so all of my big clients were actually went through the local chamber of commerce, because they knew about where I was located, and said, do you know this person? I need to find her. And so he got a hold of me and said, we need you to get the sharpening back on. There's nobody that can do our sharpening. So we took it over again, and then the economy really hit hard. And so it meant a lot of changes for me. And all of my sharpening companies, that was just over a time span of time that this was taking place. But most of those steel mills and aluminum companies that we did the sharpening for, they just weren't making it. In fact, I had sharpened for 35 years. I sharpened for the Phoenix fire departments, and they were just pretty much no business at all until FEMA stepped in. But it was a long period of time where my income went from here down to there, and I needed to remake myself. I had to figure something out. So I watched a lot of people that were entrepreneurs that were losing their businesses and their homes. And, most of us, we didn't talk about it. We didn't want to, we would kind of run away from all of that, just keep it quiet. We didn't want to tell what really happened to us. And my husband and I had gotten married after my daughters moved away. off to college, and we lost our home and business as well. So I was kind of, all right, I've got to remake myself. And so I did a lot of research online and found a trainer teaching online marketing out of San Diego. His name is Mike Kinix. And his philosophy was you everywhere now. And he taught automated email systems. He taught text messaging. He taught marketing that was new to most of us in the online world. And so then he started talking about publishing. And that resonated with me, although at the time I was only thinking about publishing my own book. From there, it just, so I did publish my own book and several books thereafter. And then I discovered that I was good at it and I understood the process. And so it developed into people coming to me quite unexpectedly. Well, you did such a good job with getting your book out there, not just publishing, but getting your book out to the world. How did you do it? And could you do it for me? And it's just developed from there. And it's been amazing for me because now I've learned not to be all things to all people. I've learned to tap into the amazing resources that I have with others that are really good in their little niches. Like I have somebody for my authors, if they don't have a website, he creates the infrastructure in the background for the website. If all these little things that we need, if you want to be a speaker, you're not good at speaking, I have somebody that can coach them for speaking. So we have affiliate arrangements so it's a full, when you come to me for publishing, we look at the big picture and the big why.
Wow, that is awesome. So all of this struggle, I love this. You went from basically overall jeans, sharpening blades with big heavy gloves to lingerie to books.
Yeah, it's quite a variety there. People that know me for all those years are going, really?
I mean, that's a great visual, I love it. So tell me, this is something that I think is really important for anyone starting out as an entrepreneur, especially if they have a family. What are a couple tips that you can give them now, years down the line, very successful, that you wish you'd known when you started out?
There's so many things. Marketing is key, and tap into as many good marketing resources that you can without chewing up the bank account.
Right.
Number 2 is really take care of yourself. Take time for your family. Don't lose out on that aspect of it. And connect yourself with other people that are leaders. Connect yourself with people that are successful because that is the way you'll grow the fastest. Don't isolate. Take care of yourself and also mix with those that are doing well.
And don't be afraid to this is one thing I've learned. Don't be afraid to take chances, but really do, right? Take your chances, but do your homework so you don't get burned.
Right. Very good.
Right. Because there's a lot of those out there who unfortunately will take advantage of people and, promise them the moon and the sun, and they're not even giving them a shovel full of sunshine.
Right. Even with my authors, I've seen them go with other publishers who take all the royalties. They've never seen a royalty. They don't know how to get access to their book content. I don't believe in that. That's their heart and soul.
Right. That's
what they should have for themselves. Not, they pay me for my services, not to take their royalties and not to take all the other things that are rightfully theirs. It's their heart and soul.
Right. So, that's one of the things I love and admire and appreciate so much about you, and why I instantly knew that we were friends, is because you have that huge heart, and integrity is everything to you.
It is.
And, I'm the same way. I have to be aligned with those who integrity is upstanding as mine. So that's huge. So we've only got about a minute left, real quick. What do you how can anyone get a hold of you who is even thinking about writing a book?
They can go to spotlightpublishing.pro. There's a contact form there. That's probably one of the easiest way. I'm all over social media. I'm always doing these live things just like you're doing. And so that's easy to connect that way. But my website's probably the easiest way.
Perfect. Okay, and super quick as we wrap up, I always ask people this. As a high energy performance coach myself, I'm big on ROE, return on energy. Becky, give us one thing you do when you take off your entrepreneurial hat to rejuvenate yourself.
For me, it's connecting with my family, and also I love crafting. So between crafting and camping, you got this girl.
I love it. Well, I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your day to share with us and to share with the audience. And ladies and gentlemen, if you are thinking of writing a book, even if it's not 100%, give Becky a call. She would be glad to talk to you, and she will not steer you wrong.
Thank you.
Thank you, Becky. Wow, was that incredible? Becky is such a wonderful, wonderful person. Big heart and very smart, very intelligent, obviously, just wonderful. Our next guest, this is really exciting. So welcome, Jeff Fagan. How are you?
I'm totally amazing, but I'll get better. How about you, Donna?
Right. Well, I am so happy that you took time out of your busy day to join us. I appreciate that so much.
Well, first of all, thank you. And thank you to Robert, who's in the background doing all the hard work here, right? Thank you, Robert. I'm seeing all of his messages on private chat, but a special thank you to Robert, and thank you, Donna, for having me on the show. I'm truly honored.
Absolutely. Thank you. So before we start into the interview questions, I always like to brag about my guests. So, of course, Jeff Fagan is the CEO and the founder of the 2% Club. He has coached, ladies and gentlemen, literally thousands of people all over the world. Jeff is happily married, and he and his wife graciously share their home with their 2 dogs. That's about the way it works, right?
That's right, exactly.
Let dog in, let dog out. Let dog in, let dog out.
Yep. God bless them. I can't live without them.
I know. I'm a big, huge animal lover myself. So I'm excited. So Jeff, let's go back a little bit in background. So you're not originally from Arizona.
No, I'm not. In fact, I don't know very many people that are originally from Arizona. Do you, Donna?
There's a few. There's a few.
Yeah, I came here from Canada in 1977, and when I came here, one of the first things I learned was to say, "Where are you from?" Because almost everybody I was meeting was from somewhere else. But I'm originally from Ottawa, Canada, and have you ever been there, Donna?
No.
Well, it's cold in the wintertime, trust me. And I always had this dream and this vision and this passion to get out of the cold weather and to get out of Canada and come down to America, the United States of America, the land of the free, the home of the brave, free enterprise. And I was always very entrepreneurial. So I always wanted to get down to the States. You know, I have a different point of view than many people do, because I saw the United States as an outsider looking at the United States versus most everybody that's watching this who were born and raised here.
Right. Interesting. So, yeah, and I agree with the cold. I'm originally from Montana, moved here when I was really little, so I don't much remember the winters. But I left Arizona and was gone for 25 years, and most recently spent 15 years in Ohio before moving back here. And the winters were getting 45 below zero. Mm-hmm. And that's just too cold.
Yep, absolutely. So when I had the opportunity to come down here and get my MBA and my CPA at Arizona State University, it was an opportunity that I really couldn't pass up. And that was back in 1977. And the rest is history. Things have just gone amazingly well since then, especially, Phoenix was a growing metropolitan area. I got involved in real estate. There was a book in 1980 called Nothing Down, and it was how to buy real estate with nothing down. And Robert Allen was the author. He wrote a bunch of other books on creating wealth and creating passive income streams. I've read all of his books. But in 1980, I began buying single family homes here, and along with my wife. And over a period of time, we ended up buying a bunch of single family homes while I was busy doing my corporate work as well. So it was a great experience for me to get my MBA, get my CPA, work in corporate America, invest in real estate. And I really retired back in 2003. And that's when my life really changed.
Okay. And when did you get into the 2% Club?
Great question. What happened was in 2003, I left the corporate world, and one of my close personal friends, his name is Dahir Becker, and had a company called Peak Potentials Training. And he was launching the business at that point, and we reconnected. And he asked me if I could join him and be his chief operating officer. And during that time, we grew this little small regional business and personal success training company into a global company where we literally trained thousands and thousands and thousands of people, just like you, just like all of our guests. And, you know, Becky, by the way, who did an amazing job. I loved her story. And then when I left Harvard and came back to Phoenix, I found that entrepreneurship in this town and the right energy for entrepreneurship in this town and the knowledge and the wisdom it takes to really succeed as entrepreneurs, they were totally lacking in all of this wisdom and this knowledge that Harv had been teaching. And so I encouraged him to come to Phoenix, and he said, well, I will come to Phoenix and share my programs, but I want for you to be what he called the city lead. And I said, I will be the city lead if I can start a club. So that every month, local Phoenicians that really are passionate about creating their own financial freedom and learning how to create the right mindset so they can grow into a level 10 person that can achieve a level 10 results, that they have a community right here in Phoenix that we can educate them, we can empower them, and we can train them how to be successful. And then when Harv comes to town, Harv brings all of his programs. And when Harv's not in town, the 2% Club keeps the community alive. So that's really how it all happened.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And do me a quick favor, because I read this, but I want you to say it. Tell us what your favorite quote is, because it just makes me giggle and get excited all at the same time.
If you're gonna work hard anyways, you might as well get rich, and the quicker the better. You're gonna work hard anyways, right?
Right.
So the thing is if you're gonna work hard and you work smart and you learn leverage, in this day and age, Donna, we were talking before we went live about how the opportunities for entrepreneurs these days are like unbelievable. For people that are used to change, for people that can adjust to change. And as entrepreneurs, what we are, Donna, is we're problem solvers. Do people have problems today that we can solve for them? They have tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of new problems. And the people, the entrepreneurs that can come up with a solution to help these people solve their problems, we call them entrepreneurs. The more people we help, the more money we earn. And so really, this is like the greatest time, because anybody can tune in to watch a show like this. In fact, anybody could create a show like this. And so if you have valuable content to share, you think about how many people today are desperately seeking valuable content that they can put into their life. So this is like the most exciting time you and I could ever imagine to be entrepreneurs.
It is. And it's about reaching out and touching those lives and making a big difference. I mean, that's just huge. That is huge. So give us a couple for the audience who may not know you, which probably not all that many people, but there's probably one or two, Jeff. But give us a couple things about what your program does.
Okay, so
brief synopsis.
It's more about mindset. You know, I say that there's 3 critical components you have to have in order to create financial freedom. And I'm really all about financial freedom. The word freedom itself, time freedom, money freedom, so that you have choice. Because the one question that I ask all of the people that I work with is, how would you like to have the choice? And the key word is choice, to be able to spend your time doing exactly what you want without worrying about having to earn a living. And do you know what percentage of people want that choice?
100%.
Yeah. So how many people can you help if you can help them get that choice? 100%. And the way you get that choice, Donna, is when you become financially free. And in order to become financially free, you have to have money coming in without you working for it. So money coming in without you working for it is called passive income. So for you to become financially free, you have to create a scenario in your life when you have enough passive or residual income that pays your bills every month. But nobody's ever trained people on how to do that properly. In fact, nobody even thinks about creating passive or residual income. Everybody is trained to create working income. And the problem with working income is you have to work for it. So my programs are 3 things. Find the right vehicle, get the right knowledge. But the most important thing, 90% of it, is working on becoming the right you. Because if you become a level 10 person, you can achieve level 10 results in pretty much anything you set your mind to. So the goal is to grow yourself into a person capable of achieving all the freedom you want. My programs are a blending of the business, finding the right business vehicle and having the right business knowledge, but 90% of it is what's going on between the ears.
Right, absolutely. It's about it's about the energy you feed yourself.
Very, very much so. Absolutely. And so I have a program called Warrior. In fact, I'd like to be able to offer that to all of your listeners. We can talk about that in a little bit. But basically, the number one thing, the foundation that I start everybody off with is, Donna, we need to turn you into an unstoppable person. Because when you're unstoppable, once you make up your mind you're going to do something, you're going to do it. And you can actually train yourself to become unstoppable. When you're unstoppable, you know what choices you have? All of them. Because once you make up your mind you're going to do it, you know you will do it. Now, the second foundational step is get rich doing what you love. And the secret there is to find your true passions and your natural talents and leverage them. That's how you live a happy, fulfilled life, because you were given God-given talents. You don't have to. You don't have to learn them. You don't have, but you are given them. If you figure out what your God-given talents are and your natural talents are, and you do what your passions are, you will become great and you will become successful. And you learn some business skills on top of it. Now you get rich doing what you love. So for me, the foundation is become unstoppable and then find your true natural passions and talents and build your life and your business around it.
Marry them together. Marry them together. I love that. So we have a few minutes. And before we go, I'd love for you to let everyone know how to get a hold of you as well, but and do your offer. But when you take off your entrepreneurial hat, Jeff, as a high energy performance coach, I'm really big on ROE, return on energy. If I feel that if we don't step away from what we do and have some downtime, some grounding, that we can't come back to the table, if you will, full of energy and dedication and to do more. What do you do to take that recharge?
I'm a prolific hiker. I can't get out in nature enough. So even now, though it's 100 degrees out now, I just get out earlier. But I hike all the time. That it's almost an addiction with me. It's tranquility, it's meditation, it's out in nature. I'm very spiritual. I believe that there's a certain energy that I can actually absorb while I'm walking in my hikes. It gets me inspired, it gets me motivated. Of all the things that I can do, I love to hike, and I also love to watch interviews of sports athletes and coaches, because they're champions, and I love to hear their mindset. I'm all about mindset. That's my biggest thing. And I love to watch not so much the games, but the interviews of the coaches and the players. With Michael Jordan right now, there's a big thing going on with Michael Jordan. But what you see is his mindset.
Right.
And when you see that mindset, it's so amazing to see the real champions, how they think, what drives them, what inspires and motivates them. Because I believe people like you and me and Robert, one of the best things we can do is empower people to get into their own power.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I love that. I love that. And I just had to giggle when you said, and you know, it's 100 to go out now. So I go out a little earlier and I'm like 100, we're still in springtime.
I know. So to answer your question, people can get a hold of me at jeff.fagin, jeff.fagin @gmail.com. And real quickly, Donna, I hope I'm not going to run over time.
No, please.
I do have a 7-week program called the No Limits Unstoppable Warrior Program. I have dozens and dozens and dozens of students that take it. It's an online program. It's done every Monday night on Facebook Live. So if you just tune in Facebook Live, it's $1,000 program. And if someone sends me an email at jeff.fagin @gmail.com, and they say, I love Network Together, and their contact information, I will gift them the $1,000 program. It's fantastic.
I love it. You heard it there. This is an opportunity to learn. And I got to be honest, I'm not, every coach needs a coach, and everybody needs to learn, and I'm in.
Outstanding, Donna. Great.
I'm
great.
in. Well,
Great.
I appreciate so much you taking the time out of your busy schedule to share these nuggets, and oh my goodness, share that incredible offer that you just gave. And honestly, ladies and gentlemen, jump on that. Take advantage of it, because that's not something that happens just every single day. So I thank you so much, and I can't wait till we get to meet again.
Great. Thank you to Robert, and thank you to you, Donna. My pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. Was that incredible, guys, with Jeff? Wow. Well, our next guest I am so excited about is Alysia Dahir. She is awesome. Welcome, Alysia. How are you?
I'm good. How are you, Donna?
I'm wonderful.
Don't mind my wild hair. It's these things that indoors do to you nowadays.
Yeah, my hair is always wild, girl. So before I get started on the interview, I always like to brag about my guests. So Alysia, of course, is the owner and of Dahir Tax and Accounting Firm, and she is extremely smart. She has a master's in international business and systems sciences, right?
Yeah,
Did I say that right?
I'm a systems scientist, and that is an area of thought. It's thought leadership, design thinking. You've got a couple of different major corporations who specialize in design thinking that are out there right now, like IDEA.
Right. And then, of course, she is the proud mama of 2 teenage children. And I have to say real quick, before we get into it, when we were talking, Alysia, I love what you said, that everything starts with a conversation.
It does.
And right? And how true is that? It doesn't matter if it's what's for dinner, we need to get gas in the car. It's a conversation. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And that it just sparked in me. I love that. I love that. So tell us a little bit about yourself before we get into how you became an entrepreneur. Were you always from Arizona, or were you from somewhere else?
So I was born in Arizona. I was born in Scottsdale, and then my parents got divorced when I was little. I ended up moving with my mom up to Payson, which is in the mountains. And as Robert said, his mom was in the school district. So we have that cute little random connection, but it's really powerful because, when we're talking about high energy, right, these are these moments of connection where we don't know what we don't know, right? We just start that conversation, and then it becomes something that's powerful and connects you in a very unique and positive way.
I love that. So when you obviously, you got your master's, did you go to work for a corporate world for a while?
So originally, and I graduated from Arizona State University with my accounting degree. I actually originally went to school to be a missionary. I went to a Bible college in New York. I thought that I wanted to go and work for the church and travel to Africa and all over the world, serving God and serving Him.
Okay, hang on a second. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties on Alysia's end, it looks like. Okay, are you there?
I'll see if we, I'm going to contact her, Donna. Sounds like she's trying to get on. So what we'll do, she's going to try to reconnect for everyone and come back on to the show. It looks like she's back.
Absolutely.
Can you pull me out?
Oh, there you are.
Okay.
Okay, awesome. Sorry about that. We had a little technical issue. Okay. So we still seem to be having a little bit of a connection issue, I believe, through the internet, with so many of us at home these days due to COVID-19. Of course, we're all on the internet and it's just blowing up their lines. So sometimes I know that the connections are a little sketchy, trying to get on. It looks like Alysia is trying to come back on.
Yeah. Hey, Donna, let's, what we'll do, because we just have a few minutes of show left. We'll get her on another show. It is so great that she's been able to be on the show, and she provides such valuable information.
She does.
One of the things that she also does is she also is a TEDx trainer, and she's also ambassador for the Fountain Hills Chamber of Commerce. And I actually call her a social financial warrior, because she really challenges, entrepreneurs to get their financial game up. You can make all the money in the world. We know that. But the thing is if you're still spending money, more money than you're making, it doesn't matter.
Excuse me.
She helps you shelter money. She helps you, put money in the right places. And, and she does it for entrepreneurs. She's kind of like your entrepreneurial financial friend. I'm going to get back get back off here and see if we can get Alysia back on here. Here we go.
Okay.
Thank you.
There you are. You're muted. Unmute your mic.
I had to kick my kid off the internet.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah.
These are the problems of being a working mom and owning your own company and being quarantined in COVID-19, right?
Right.
My husband was at my office. So that was enough about me. I think that was the sign to wrap that whole thing up. Yes. I have a master's degree in 3 subject areas, finance, international business, and system sciences. Like you and I discussed, I'm working on my PhD in social anthropology. But that's more just because I'm fascinated with people and culture, and I have a heart and a nature I want to help others.
Right. Right. I love that. So tell us, how did you get into just jumping in and opening up your own tax accounting company?
I had been working for the federal government. And I am an entrepreneur by nature. My whole family, my mother's family, my father's family have all owned their own businesses. But I wasn't going to work in the hair salon. I told my mom, no. I want to go to college. I was the first woman in my family to go to college and graduate. And for me, it was a big deal. But I was taught corporate, right? So I went to work for the government, right? And I found that was okay. But there were a few things they asked me to do at some points that I wasn't really comfortable with. And I didn't want to treat people that way. And so I was working for the Department of Defense, and we were in that Afghan war, and we started to, close that war down. Well, I had to lay off half of my staff, and I was the controller. I was the boss. And I didn't feel really good about that. So I left and I started teaching. I went back to education and taught public school for 3 years. I'm like, I'm going to just chill out. And then we started a nonprofit with a bunch of moms. They were like, this is cool. Let's have an Arizona education nonprofit. And moms, right? And so we started Dancing Queen Dresses. It's a prom dress charity. And we collected dresses. And we were like, yeah, exactly, right?
I love that one.
Yeah, this could be really cool. And then we started playing with arts and graphics, started joining like different art organizations around. And that's how I met a lot of the beautiful people that I know today. And my part of the work started to become more about consulting and helping people with their accounting. And I didn't expect that, because I was teaching, but I was like, well, why does, the math keep on calling me back to it? And it's because I had all these beautiful life lessons and these skills that were deep inside of me that, if I don't use them, I lose them, Right. There's something about that just kept calling me deeper and deeper into my own self. And I was like, okay, so I was consulting through the nonprofit and just helping people. And then I charged here or there. But then I started to find out I had 50 clients. I'm like, well, crap, this is more than I thought I was going to have.
This isn't one or two. What am I doing?
This wasn't the plan. And they want to keep me. Okay, I kind of like being kept. And so it was interesting. But I'm like, okay, well, but if I don't practice what I preach with my clients, you guys need to have liability insurance, you need to do all these things, then what kind of stand am I being for my own responsibility as a businesswoman? I was like, that's not okay. Or even for my children. What kind of leadership am I setting for the kids, when I'm teaching? I was still working, in the public schools. I'm like, I wanted to be a good example. And that was really where my heart was. And I was like, well, being a good example means that I have to go start my own business. I can't put everybody else in risk and in jeopardy. And in order to get the liability insurance, you had to have a company. Right. I'm like, okay, let's just do it because I don't know what else to do now.
Oh my goodness. So how many years have you been in business now?
Okay, so I opened the doors to the firm in 2017, and we are, almost 3 years old now. And I went from just myself consulting to hiring contractors to going on to I have employees now. So, it's kind of exciting, right? There's a lot of growing pains and challenges with that, but I had a lot of good mentors over the years that were really high level in the work and accounting and CPAs, and I didn't even realize it. So I started to ask my friends for help. Like, I'm like, you guys used to be my bosses. Can you be my coaches now or my mentors? Like, tell me something I don't know because you know all this. You've done this. So now that I'm doing it, help me, right? So. And that was really important for me to really understand because I'd already been doing that for all the people that I had been consulting with through the nonprofit. You just kind of just go. You just keep moving, right? You just keep moving.
One of the things I love about you is, first of all, your heart's huge. Your integrity is just as huge. So we have instant connection with that. And how energy works, right? Energy, you got to feed yourself the right energy.
Right.
And you definitely feed yourself the right energy. And what you're saying is, I have to feed myself the right energy, or I can't tell them that their energy's wrong, essentially, right?
Right.
And I love that about you, and that you if you say you're going to do it, you do it. If you say you're going to be there, you're going to be there. And if you're not, it's because something catastrophic happened. There was.
I must have died.
That would kind of be a catastrophe, okay? I'm just saying.
Something like drug me out like a cat.
Right. I got eaten by a bear.
Right. We can use these. Watch out. I might end up in Alaska or when I'm in a forest and we can use this one.
That's right. That's right. So, one of the things I always ask my guests as a high energy performance coach, and we touched base on this a little bit the other day, I am a huge believer in ROE, your return on energy. So I believe that we need to get out of our own head and out of our own space in that entrepreneurial form and recharge. And that's different for everybody. You know, I love the sun. We talked about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, crisping time for Donna has begun because the weather's
Yeah,
so
right.
give me another
Mhm.
month. I'll be all dark brown.
Right.
And I love to swim and I love to garden and of course spend time with my animals and you know, and my boyfriend. What do you do to recharge?
So I thought about our conversation, and it really gave me some inspiration. And I love to travel. You know, culture is such a huge part of me, being half British, half Arabic, and just the fascination of wondering what is life about. It seems to just drive me, and meeting other people, and then getting perspective. Right, when you're traveling, you see how people either have it so much better than you, or they don't have it at all anywhere near as good as you got it. So you got
Right.
something like coming your way. But just generally being with my family, being outdoors, those are things that I cherish. And when I'm there in those times, if I can just quiet, taking my own quiet time, I find like a balancing place, right? I think for most of us, finding something that gives us joy, that brings us into that space of balance, because the world is pretty fast. It's moving faster. We only use less than 10% of our brain. I don't want to see what our world looks like maybe when we use more than that part of our brain, right? So it could be dangerous. We could be on steroids. I don't know.
It would burn up.
Yeah, we gotta pick up the pace then somehow. There's people that I know that are just brilliant, and like they're so fast, and I'm just like, huh?
Right.
Like I can do math like that.
That's awesome. So, Alysia, how can people get a hold of you? Because you offer more than just a tax service.
Right.
Right? So
Yeah.
how can they get a hold of you? Because, your integrity stands for itself. And, I highly recommend anybody going to you. So please let everyone know how they can get a hold of you when they need your help.
So I tell all of my clients, whether I like it or not, you have my text messages and direct access to my cell phones. You can get me on Messenger, most of you, either through the business page or through me personally, because some of my clients are my personal friends. And then they can call me and they can email me. There's like 1,000 ways to connect with me. I'm on LinkedIn. Literally, I'm the TEDx director for Fountain Hills, solely been on TED.com. Like I am like a central hub of connection. And, I like to be that availability to people. And I also like the challenges of it, where I have to also say, hey, you know what? I need some time. I need to go and spend the time with my family. You're not going to be able to get a hold of me for a couple of days, because it keeps me in integrity, right? I'm able to be like, okay, you know what? I'm there for you guys. I'm all in always. But right now, I need you to be there for me. And that's really healthy. That's then, a part of what makes my work like very valuable, is I can go in and be in that relationship with my clients.
Right. I love that. So is there a website that they can get a hold of you quickest at?
If they're on Facebook, we have a Facebook page for the firm, Dahir Tax and Accounting. That's the easiest way to get. We're reformatting our website right now. We want to add some new hot buttons, some COVID resources, and then we're also linking in how people can get to the services faster.
Awesome. I can't thank you enough for the honor of letting me interview you and taking time out of your busy schedule. Thank you so much. And I can't wait till we connect again.
Yeah, I can't wait till we're all networking again, and then we can all hang out and have drinks. Cheers.
Yeah, and a hug. And a hug.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Alysia.
Thank you for your time. God bless you.
Ladies and gentlemen, was that a show or what? Hey, Robert, what did you think about that? Holy cow.
I know. I mean, I am just like, I'm scribbling notes. I'm putting down thoughts. I'm trying to retain. My head's going poof right now. What a blessing to have. I mean, 3 real great impactors all in the same time. I mean, the diversity of their background. I mean, their motivation, their drive, their relentless ambition. I mean, each and every one of them, but it's not just for themselves. It's like, what I love is they want to take other people with them. And each one of them in their own right are just outstanding teachers. And
absolutely.
And I'm like, it just God, just soak them up so much and learn as much as you can. And the next thing is, especially Jeff, I mean, talk about a warrior. He's probably gonna put a little boot in your bottom if you're not getting going. So
Right?
I'm really excited about his boot camp coming up, Donna.
I am too. The thing I love that I saw, the common connection, was each of them are in a different business, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But the common connection is how they help their clients grow and become more than what they were, either through publishing their book, through financial security, Alysia, through taxes and accountability.
And each one of them, they understand the return on energy, and they're always putting energy out there. And here's the thing, when I see people walking away from them, with more energy than they went in, when
Yeah.
as we learned, it all starts with a conversation, but here's the other thing. We had the mastermind earlier today, and we talked about, what are the 3 things that entrepreneurs need? They need access to quality people, they need access to quality information, and they need a boatload of inspiration. And with each and every one of them, being the teachers they are, the givers that they are, the trainers that they are, they provide free inspiration, the right person, and the right information. It's like a bundled package. And it's like, how can you not say, sign me up?
Right. It was gift wrap for the mastermind we had earlier.
Absolutely. So I just am totally impressed. And, the show, we have people come on from all around the world, all around the country. But, right now, I'm just going to make a special pitch for those people who are in the Phoenix area. If you are in the Phoenix area and you're watching this, I mean, they're here. They're right in our own backyard. You don't have to, go to Bangladesh or Brazil or Germany. I mean, we can find them here. We can reach out. And once we can get back together without our COVID masks on, we may even give a high five and a hug. What a great time. Thank you so much.
I look forward to that. So absolutely reach out to every one of these people. Don't be shy. And if it's one thing I've learned, you know what? Don't let your energy that's a little bit scared keep you from growing yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, we are at the end of our show, and I can't thank you enough for taking time out of your day to be here with us. And I can't wait to see you again, same time next week. Bye, everybody. Have a great weekend.